Hi, Anil. Such a pleasure to have you with us today, and it's so inspiring to hear you. If there were three tips that you'd like to give leaders on the mid career level when they want to reach the CXO level, what would they be?
As I said in the morning session, the first one is that they have to create an identity of themselves, which is like their own brand, which can be either from the subject knowledge or can be from non-subject knowledge areas. But they have to have an identity by which people should refer to them. And in that identity or on that subject, they have to be better than their boss. They have to be better than anybody else in the organization. That's the first one. Second one, as I said, that in all your work and decision making, you have to be firm and you have to be fair. If you are firm and fair, I think organizations will value you a lot more. And the third big message, which I said, that you have to build a great team, and your people should look at your team as the best team within the organization. And there are various tools and methods by which you can get an aligned team with you. But moment you have a great team, you will find you are redundant, and the organization will promote you to the next level. Thanks.
Okay, superb. I mean, that's really amazing and very practical. Tell me, if from your own personal playbook, what would you tell yourself? If you had to give yourself advice, right, for let's say about 10, 15 years ago, what would you say to your younger self?
I think I should have learned lot more things which I started doing. I think later part of my career, post 50s. If I would have been younger, I didn't look at putting stress on my own learning so much, and I was more like a what we call street smart guy, learning from mistakes here and there. But organized learning always matters.
Okay, great. I think so. Organized learning is something that you would always advocate to others. And you had some very distinct slides today on managing your boss, and I think that seems to have really sparked a lot of questions. Any top three things that you would like to say?
As I said earlier, in managing your boss, first thing, identify an area where you are better than your boss. One area, and that should be in the subject matter where you are there, where you are go to the person for your boss. And once that happens, I think he will start making you part of his conversations, teams, discussions a lot more. I think that's one of the key thing in
Okay.
managing the boss.
Superb. And having looked at over your last 30 years, right? You started off from let's say manufacturing that you told us, and then you moved into sales, and then you moved into marketing. What would you take as a couple of defining moments in your career that really helped you get to where you are?
I think my head of sales stint was where my personality as well as my leadership style got a lot more evolved. And the reason was that as a head of sales, you are managing large teams which are not co-located. They are into various field areas, various offices, and you have to manage them, but still have a people connect with them. And that is a critical one, that how you have non co-located people which are part of your team, and they still feel close to you, still are aligned to you, and are ready to work for the common goals.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it's quite difficult, right, when you're spread out right across the country. And so I think that's an amazing job that you've managed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just on a personal side, right? What do you think really leadership is, from what has really helped you define your legacy in terms of leadership?
As I mentioned earlier also, it's people, people and people. If you are a people person and you know the nerve of a person, I think you can get great things done from these guys, and you can build great teams. So you have to have a trait in you as a leadership leader, that you are seen as a people oriented guy.
I mean, that's really amazing. And that too coming from someone who's on a little more reserved, right?
Yes.
So you tell us, I mean, a lot of introverted leaders feel they're not good with people. And how did you really take on that challenge?
As I said, that I may be introvert in terms of social gatherings, in terms of speaking on outside. This is like, as I told you, I'm very
Yes.
shy on speaking outside this thing. But I always also challenge myself, get out of my comfort zone and do it. I have shown a glimpse of how you can build people skills, being an introvert also, because people under you or around you, being your peers or subordinates as well as your uh, colleagues, they look at you not only in social gatherings, they also look at you in the professional work, in day-to-day working, how you interact with them, how fair you are, how you are taking decisions which are fair and even firm and good for the organization. I think you start commanding respect there.
Amazing. I think that's a great one. You don't have to be an extrovert, and you mentioned if you had sort of spent more time learning, So, as a global CXO coach, we run something called the Global CXO Accelerator, where we help people to get to those levels. And of course, we also work with CXOs on a different level to take them. What advice would you give mid-career managers, to invest in their learning?
I will always tell them, as I said earlier also, that every 2 years they have to learn something new. It can be skill which is on the job, it can be skill which can be outside of the job, but they have to, it will add to their persona. And moment that persona will convert into good leadership skill or leadership axis on which they can then build on.
Super. Thank you very much, Anil. And it's such a pleasure having Anil here with us at the Global CXO Accelerator Summit. And you can always reach out to him and ask him any more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure, mine.